Hello viewers, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today our discussion topic is structure of ear. So let's start. In this video we will know at the end that how can we hear sound and also how ear helps us to balance our body. These are the two main functions of ear: balancing and to hear sound, hearing. Okay, so let's start about the structure of the ear. This is our ear, the invisible part. This part is visible and this is invisible part, that is inside the body. So the invisible part of our ear is located in the temporal part of the temporal bone, that is actually the petrous part of temporal bone. Okay, we have temporal at our side. So this is the temporal bone and this is the petrous part of temporal bone. The petrous part of temporal bone. Okay, now look, the ear is divided into three parts. This is the outer part here from this one to this, and then there is a middle ear and then inner ear. So our ear is divided into three parts. That is outer ear, next middle ear, and inner ear. Okay, outer ear, this part is called the pinna or auricle. This part is called pinna or auricle and this is immovable. Human being has our pinna is immovable, but other animal can move their pinna, but this pinna is rudimentary for the human. Okay, the main function of pinna or auricle, this is called auricle. Pinna or auricle. The main function of auricle or pinna is to receive sound. Okay, it receives sound and it can transfer the wave into this canal. This canal is called the auditory canal, or we can say external acoustic meters or external auditory meters or auditory canal. It is a long tube. What is it called? It is called external acoustic meters, or we can say external auditory canal. External auditory canal. Okay, now come to the inner part, inner side, that is after the outer ear. So outer ear is comprises with pinna or auricle and the external acoustic meters, that means external auditory canal. And after the outer ear there is a membrane that is called tympanic membrane. Okay, and this part is the middle ear. This cavity is called the tympanic cavity. Here the main component of the middle ear are the bones, ear ossicles, auditory muscles and eustachian tube. Okay, this is the tympanic membrane. It's also called eardrum. This is called tympanic membrane. And these are ear ossicles: malleus, incus and stapes. Malleus, incus, stapes. These are three ear ossicles. Okay. And this tube is called eustachian tube. Eustachian tube. It actually balance the air pressure. Balance the air pressure between the auditory canal and this tympanum cavity. Okay, and this cavity is air filled with air. Then after the inner ear, after the middle ear, there is an inner ear. Inner ear is comprises with the three parts. These are called the semicircular canal. These are semicircular canal. Semicircular canal, these are fluid filled. Second one, it's called vestibule. And this coil structure, just like snail, this coil structure is called cochlea. Okay. Outer ear receives the sound and it transports the wave to the tympanic membrane. Then these ear ossicles move and then the wave come to the inner ear, to the semicircular canal, then vestibule and then cochlea, and there is auditory nerve attached. Then it goes to brain by the auditory nerve. Okay, so in this way sound waves pass through the ear. Now come in detail in different parts of ear, that is outer ear, middle ear and inner ear. So let's come to the outer ear first. Outer ear, there is it is present it is actually projects from the side of our head. Okay, this part is visible part. This part is visible. Actually, outer ear is comprises of two part, the pinna and the auditory canal. So I am coming first to the pinna, that is also called the auricle, and this part is made up of fibroelastic cartilage. Fibroelastic cartilage. Actually, fibrous containing cartilage is tough, but fibroelastic, that means tough, and it's a cartilage. Cartilage means it's a pliable. Okay, and it is made up of the ear. This is called the ear lobule. Lobule is made up of adipose tissue. Okay, come one by one. First, at the upper part of the ear, this is most prominent. This fold, it has ridges. Okay, it has ridges and deeply grooved structure. It's deeply grooved and has ridges. So it's a most prominent ridges at the topmost. This is called the helix. This is called helix. Okay, and at the bottom there is a adipose tissue containing part. This is called the lobule. Lobule. Okay, and the middle here, a depression is there at the center. This part is called the concha. Concha. So in the pinna auricle, we find that at the upper part of the pinna, it's called helix. At the bottom, this part, adipose tissue is there. It's called the lobule, and it has different grooves and ridges. And at the center, the groove is called, the depression is called the concha. Okay, and the visible part of the ear is made up of fibroelastic cartilage. Okay, now come to the external aqueous meatus. Okay, that is auditory canal. It is slightly curved canal and it's a S shaped, slightly S shaped, and it starts from concha and it's up to the eardrum. This tympanic membrane is also called eardrum, so it extends from concha to eardrum, and its length 2 to 5 centimeter. Its length is 2 to 5 centimeter. Now look, total auditory canal is the first part. This part is made up of the outer, this part is cartilaginous. This part is cartilaginous and this part is bony part. As it is under the temporal bone, so it's a bony part. Petrous part of the temporal bone. So this part of the total auditory canal, this part is under the bony part, and so this is the bony portion, and this one is cartilaginous. It is made up of cartilage, this part. From this side to this side is cartilaginous, and from this side to up to the invisible part inside the bone, temporal bone, that is bony part. Okay, and this is very thin. It's the initial part. Hairs present here. Hairs, sebaceous gland, ceruminous gland. These glands are present here. Ceruminous glands, hairs, these are present here. Okay, so cerumen is that also called the ear wax. Cerumen is also called ear wax. Okay, hairs, ear wax, they are actually protective in function. They protect the inner part of the ear. They trap the dust, the insects, such kind of the pathogens. Pathogens are get trapped by these arrangement. There are some hairs and the cerumen. Cerumen is actually a ear wax. They secrete from this part, and they form a very sticky material. Okay, they trap the dust and insects. Now come to the inner bony part. Sebaceous glands only present here. Here we can find the sebaceous gland and ear wax. Both are present at that cartilaginous part. But in the bony part, there are only sebaceous glands present. Only sebaceous. Only sebaceous gland present here. And very fine hairs are present here. Also here, there are also hair present, but it's very fine in structure. Okay, and after the outer ear, next there is a middle ear. Okay, this is also called, middle ear is also called tympanum. Middle ear is also called tympanum. Okay, I am magnifying this part on my next slide, but here look, this cavity is called the tympanic cavity. Okay, tympanic cavity, and it's actually air filled cavity, and within the inner middle ear there is 3 ossicles, that is called the ear ossicles. Okay, and this is the eustachian tube. Actually air transported from the nasopharynx and come here, and it actually equalize the air pressure, the sound wave of the auditory canal, because here is a wave coming from the auditory canal, and there are also air present, so they equalize the tympanic membrane. Okay, actually they hit the tympanic membrane, and that wave actually make the ossicles to vibrate, then the wave come through this through the rest of the parts. But here this main function of the eustachian tube, this is the eustachian tube, is to pass the air into the cavity to equalize the air pressure. Now this is middle ear, this is tympanic membrane. Tympanic membrane, after the tympanic membrane, this part is middle ear. Okay, here 3 are ear ossicles: malleus, incus, this is stapes. Okay, now look for the malleus. Malleus is called hammer. Hammer that has a handle, that is the handle, it's called the manubrium also, and it has a head. This is the head portion, this is head, and this part is handle. Okay, and handle, this also called the manubrium. Manubrium. Okay, when the vibration hit the tympanic membrane, that actually hit the handle or manubrium, then it start vibrate. Next the malleus, next is incus. Malleus, incus, it's called anvil, it is called hammer. Next, anvil. The body, it has also three parts. This is the body, this is long short process, and this one long process. Long process. Okay, this is the body part, this part, and this is the short process, and this is a long process. The body at its part, it actually articulates the head of the malleus. Here it is articulate, that means they are not fixed but they are articulate, that means they form a socket like structure, they just protect the guard this part, so they articulate here. And then there is a body, and it's short process and long process. Okay, now there is a stapes. Stapes is also called stirrup. It's also called stirrup. It has head, it's head of stapes, and neck. This part is neck, and it has two arms, that is anterior crus and posterior crus. This is the anterior crus, and this one is posterior crus. Okay. Okay, I am telling you again. So we have three ear ossicles. First is malleus, second incus, then stapes. Malleus attached at the to the tympanic membrane by its handle, that is manubrium, and it's the head. And after the malleus, there is a stapes. Sorry, there is a incus. Incus has three parts. This is body. This is a short process and it's a long process. The long process articulate the head of the stapes, and here the body of the head part, that is the body of the incus, is articulated by the head of the malleus. Now it's the stapes. Stapes is our smallest bone of our body. Okay, and this is the head part. Then there is a neck, and it has the two arms, that is called the anterior crus and posterior crus. So these are ear ossicles. Next, middle ear actually have three part. First one, ear ossicles. Ear ossicles I have already explained. Next, auditory muscles. Auditory muscles. The main function of auditory muscle is actually it's of two types: tensor tympani tensor, tympani and stapedius. Okay, tensor tympani actually stretch the tympanic membrane, helps to stretch the tympanic membrane, that can sound wave hit the tympanic membrane easily. And stapedius, it's a muscle that helps the stapes to not more vibrate, to not to do more vibrate, because if it move very rapidly, it will harm the inner part of the ear. That's why it's control the movement. The stapedius muscle actually control the movement of the, control the vibration of the stapes. And as stapes is the smallest bone, so stapedius is the smallest muscle. Stapedius is the smallest muscle of our body. Okay. Now come to the third part, that is eustachian tube. Eustachian tube. This is the third part of the middle ear. It's a air-rich tympanic cavity. It's a air-rich, air-filled. Okay, this cavity is air-filled tympanic cavity, and this is the eustachian tube. It links with the nasopharynx. This links with the nasopharynx. Okay, so it collect the air from, transport the air from the nasopharynx and transport here from the nasopharynx, transport the air to this tympanic cavity. And this eustachian tube is lined with the ciliated columnar epithelium. This epithelial tissue is type of epithelial tissue of the eustachian tube is ciliated columnar epithelium. Okay. Now come to the inner ear. This is our inner ear. Inner ear is also called the labyrinth. Okay. Or oris interna. It's also called oris interna or labyrinth. Okay, it has three parts. This is 3 semicircular canal and has vestibule. I separate three parts by three colors. Okay, green part showing the semicircular canals, 3 semicircular canals. The orange part showing the vestibule. Vestibule has two parts, that is utricle and this is the saccule, and the third part is cochlea. Okay, this part is actually, inner ear is actually responsible for the hearing and balance. Okay, and it's a fluid filled channel, the network of fluid filled channels. And here it's made up of bony labyrinth and membranous labyrinth. Membranous labyrinth is surrounded by the bony labyrinth. I am showing you that structure on my next slide. Okay, now focus on the semicircular canal. Here is a 3 tiny interconnected fluid filled tubes. Okay, one actually placed at right angles to each other. They are placed right angles to each other. That's why they are giving a 3D dimensional structure. So this is the anterior or superior, 3 circular, first anterior, or it's called superior, anterior or superior. It's posterior canal, and this one is lateral or horizontal plane. Lateral, anterior or superior, posterior, anterior, posterior, lateral, 3 semicircular canal. Okay, at the base they are swollen. At the base of the semicircular canal, this is a swollen part. This swollen part base, this swollen base is called ampulla. Ampulla. Okay. Where actually this swollen in the swollen ampulla, here receptor organs actually present. They actually control the balance. This is called the crista ampullaris. Here the receptor organ of balance present called crista ampullaris. Where can I write here? Crista ampullaris. Crista ampullaris. Here I am showing you the detail of the crista ampullaris. Okay, this is the swollen part of the semicircular canal. At the base, these are the receptors of the balance. These are the receptors of balance. Actually, they have hair like hair cells. They receive the signals. There looks like that. Okay. Now come to the vestibule. This orange part. This first part is called the utricle, and the second part is the saccule. Okay. U for utricle and S saccule. This part vestibule has its own receptors. That receptor parts of the vestibule called macula. Macula. Okay. It has also hair cells. Macula has also hair cells. These are the utricle and saccule. Okay. And they have their own receptor cells called macula. Macula has hair cells. And there is a connection. Utricle continues with the saccule by a connecting duct. This is called the utriculo-saccular duct. This duct is called utriculo-saccular duct, and this is called endolymphatic sac, and this duct is called endolymphatic duct. Endolymphatic duct. Okay. So these are about the vestibule. Then come to the coiled structure, just like snail. Coiled structure. It's called the cochlea. If we cross section the cochlea, so how it looks? Let's see. This is the cross section of cochlea. Is a coiled structure. Okay. So snail like, and it has a broad base and apex. Okay, let's see on the previous slide. Cochlea, the base is broad. Cochlear base is broad, and the apex. This is the apex and this is the base. Apex is called the capula. Capula. Okay, the apex is called capula and the base is broad. So if you cross section the cochlea, it looks like that. At the inner side there is a endolymph, and at the outer side there is a bony labyrinth. Okay. Perilymph. Okay, one thing is a bony labyrinth outside and inner side membranous labyrinth. The outer part is filled with the liquid. It's called the perilymph. This outer part outside. Okay, so it's called the perilymph. Perilymph. And at the middle there is a endolymph. So cochlea has three parts. The upper part called the scala vestibuli. This part is called scala vestibuli. The middle part is called scala media. Scala media, and the third is called scala tympani. Okay. So on the base of this part, scala media, there is a membrane. This is called the basilar membrane. Basilar membrane. A specialized hair cells are arranged on the basilar membrane. They are called the organ of Corti. Organ of Corti. They are auditory receptors. Auditory receptors. Okay. So when the impulse come, they vibrate and they attach with the upper part, tectoral part. Okay. And that sensory impulse goes through the nerve to the cranial nerve, to the brain. So here, this is the section of cochlea. It has three parts: scala vestibuli, scala media, scala tympani. It's a fluid filled part. This the fluid here is called perilymph outside, and inner at the middle there is a endolymph. Perilymph is reached with sodium ions, and endolymph is reached with potassium ion. At the base of the scala media, there is a basilar membrane. With the basilar membrane, there is a special type of auditory receptors attached. They have cilia, and when they impulse come, they get attached with the tectoral part, tectoral membrane. That is, they are called the organ of Corti. Okay. Okay, so here this nerve is emerges from the cochlea. Okay, and from the vestibule, they vestibular nerves emerges. So what happened here? Look. This nerve is emerges from the vestibular part. It is a vestibule, and this is the vestibular nerve. Vestibular nerve, and this is the cochlear nerve. And this vestibular and cochlear both join together to form vestibulocochlear nerve. Vestibulocochlear nerve. This is the 8th cranial nerve. They transmit the sensory impulse to the brain. Okay. So these are all about the structures of inner ear, middle ear and outer ear. Let's come to the physiology of hearing. Physiology of hearing is how can we hear sound. So there are steps are followed by the process. So I am showing you the diagram parallelly. The first step is sound waves produce vibrations. First sound come to the external ear, to the pinna, to the auricle, that receives the sound waves, and that waves is transmitted through the auditory canal and it hit to the tympanic membrane. This is the tympanic membrane. Okay. Then auricle collects the concentrated wave and send it to auditory canal. Auditory canal, sound wave come to the auditory canal. Tympanic membrane vibrate. Tympanic membrane then vibrate. Vibrance transmitted to middle ear causing ossicles to vibrate. Then that vibration come to the middle ear and there are ossicles, ear ossicles are there. They get vibrate. Foot plate of stapes hit oval window. Okay, look, this is the what is foot plate. I have to explain. Look at this diagram. This is the anterior crus and posterior crus. The foot is attached with a plate. That dotted part is called the foot plate. Okay, when the vibration comes, that from the stapes, that foot plate get vibrate. And this is the oval window. Upper part there is a oval window. So foot plate is attached with the oval window and below the oval window there is a round window. So what happened? Foot plate of stapes hit oval window. Foot step hit the oval window. Fluid in the cochlea move. Then the fluid starts to move. Endolymph moves in cochlear duct causing stimulation of hair cells in organ of Corti. When impulse come, the fluid actually start to move, and by the movement of that fluid we learn that above the basilar membrane there are hair cells. That hair cells move and they touch to the tectoral part, and then the impulse goes through the auditory canal. Okay, so here endolymph moves in cochlear duct causing stimulation of hair cells. So here above the bacillary membrane, this is the bacillary membrane. From the bacillary membrane the impulse come to the hair cells and the hair cells start shaking their cilia. Nerve impulse generate and pass to the cochlea portion to the vestibulocochlear nerve. So this nerve impulse then come to the vestibulocochlear nerve. That means the nerve come out of the vestibule and also from the cochlea get fused to form vestibulocochlear nerve. So this nerve receives the sensory impulse and then it transmit to the medulla of the cerebrum. Okay, so in this way the impulse, that is the sound wave, come to the sensory impulse of the sound goes to the brain. So these are all about the structure of ear and also the physiology of hearing. I hope I make you clear about that concept. If my video help you, you can understand the whole matter. So please give a like and also subscribe and share my channel. If you are new in my channel, then don't forget to subscribe. We will meet on next video with a new topic. Till then, take care. Thank you for watching.